Hey, what up, YouTube? Wow, it's been such a long time since I've done a live stream. Such a long time. I can't believe that I'm actually back doing this thing. This is insane. Oh, man, it feels good. So good to be back. What's going on, guys? I can't even talk. I'm so excited. What's going on, guys? Josh here from Momentum Productions. I got, you know what? This is what I got set up right now. This is my Sony A9 with my newest lens, which is the 70-200 G Master 2.8 aperture. How is everyone doing, yo? I got a lot of gear set up for you guys. So I have my Crane 2 right here. I have the new follow focus system, including the wireless remote, which is a motion sensor. I'm going to be doing a full review on that. If you guys want me to take all that stuff out and show you how all of that works, please let me know. I would love to demo it for you. It's pretty awesome technology. Also, the monitor that I have on the A9, you know what? Let me take that off so I can show you what's going on here. Don't drop it, Josh. Don't drop this expensive setup, please. Okay, so this is my A9 setup. Okay. Hey, what's up, Italy? How you doing? So this is my A9 G Master 70-200. Yeah, I was about to say Zeiss, but it's not Zeiss. So that was a weird thing. I just hiccuped. That was weird. And this is Juin's monitor that they just started making. So now, let me give you guys a closer look at this monitor. I just got this 2 days ago. This is Juintech's monitor. Yeah, this company, they're doing some big things, guys. Like, they just started off with the Crane version 2 or version 1 like 2 years ago. Now they're doing a whole bunch of different things. They're doing follow focus systems. They're doing monitors. They're doing, oh, man, I can't wait for their next generation of gimbals and all that stuff. So yeah, this is their 5-inch monitor. This is one of their newest products. And I have let me grab the wireless remote. Hang on, don't move. It's right here. We have the wireless remote controller. Oh, wow, everything's just such a mess back here. So, okay, here we go. Let me grab all this stuff here. So we have the wireless remote controller here. This actually has a follow focus wheel. Guys, let me know what the quality is like on this live stream. It's good that I know the quality. All right, so let me know what it's like. If it's too choppy or crappy, let me know. But yeah, this is the, oh, I'm out of breath. This is the wireless remote controller for the Crane 2. I haven't reviewed it yet, but my review is coming out soon. But so far, so good. I love the actual weight of the remote. Weight has a lot to do with just making it feel sturdy and just a joy to use. The follow focus wheel here is aluminum, which is great. It has some tension to it, so it's not like loosey-goosey. You know, there is tension to this wheel. So pulling focus is becoming a lot more accurate, and I love that. Okay, awesome, cool. But yeah, this is, let me show you a close-up of my camera setup. I was just shooting a review for a carbon fiber tripod. I already posted it. Didn't do too well, but it's okay. We have videos that do bad and good, but it's all right. But anyway, here's my Sony A9 with the G Master 70-200. This is a massive setup. Definitely need 2 hands to hold it. But yeah, this is what I was shooting a lot of my videos with lately. Believe it or not, I love the 70-200 for video. It gets me that shallow depth of field. It gets me that great range that I want. And I overall just, oh, man, I would love it. If you're going 70 miles per hour, how long would it take you to reach 70 miles? Wow, that's a good question. Halvin Wolf says, Halvin Wolf, what's up, brother? Almost 40K subs, Josh. Yes, I'm so excited. It's been, the last 2 months have been really tough on YouTube. The algorithm changes and all that crap. Oh, man. It's been tough. So the channel hasn't been growing as fast as it used to. I know that the content's good based on your guys' feedback. On average, my videos are getting over a 90% approval rating from you guys. So that is an A. So that's very good. So I know that the content is good. So I want to thank you guys so much for being honest with me, with the channel, and providing me your feedback. If something is not good, you got to let me know. This is an educational channel. I want every video to give you some sort of information. So please be honest with the feedback. I won't take it personally, I promise. Just please be honest, and we'll grow from there. Yeah, so any questions, guys? This is a little live stream I want to put together for you. Over to my right, I actually have an automated slider back here. If you guys want me to demo that for you, I'd love to do so. This is the Cinetics Lynx slider. I did a review on that as well, but if you guys are thinking about investing a couple G's in some new motion control system, definitely consider the Lynx, because it's a great piece of kit. And I would, you know, as I said before, I like to do these live streams in order to demo a lot of this equipment for you. So on the side here, I still rock out with my original Sony a7S Mark I with the 16-35 lens. I'm getting ready to get rid of the Mark I. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting ready to get rid of the a7S. It all depends on Sony's next a7S. So let's talk a little bit about cameras. I think that's gonna be what we should start talking about, because it's either going to be the A7S Mark III or the A7 III, and there's going to be a price difference. I have some speculation on the price. I'm just going based off of Sony's previous history with pricing. I think it's going to be similar around the A7R III with when it comes down to price. So I'm thinking around $3,300 to $3,500. That's the price for the A7S III. I don't see 4K 60 coming. I see the upgraded battery. I see a touch screen for focusing. I see bit rate. I don't think is going to change. Low light sensitivity, I don't think is going to change. Better stabilization on the sensor, definitely. Ergonomics, we're going to get the same dials as the A7R III. But besides that, I don't see that much of a change. Megapixel count might go up to maybe 15, but don't forget that the higher the megapixel, the less sensitive is to light, which is why the A7S only has 12 megapixels. The megapixels on the A7S are a lot larger, so they can absorb more light. So if you cram more pixels on the sensor, you're going to have to shrink down the size of the pixels, which means that it's not going to be able to absorb as much light. So yeah. Mark Artis is saying, what can you say about the new Atomos Ninja? Are they compatible with the Sony cameras? I have not had a chance to check out the Atomos equipment yet. I really do want to check out the Ninja. I really do, especially with the A7S Mark I. I was just comparing footage between my A7S and my A9 the other day. And wow, the A9 is so much sharper. I was shocked at how much sharper the A9 is. I didn't think it would be that much of a difference, but it was a shock at how much sharper the A9 was. And I was using the same exact lens too. So I was in shock. I thought comparing both footages together, the camera side by side, I thought my A7S was out of focus the whole entire time. But it wasn't. It was because it was just not as sharp as the A9. So that I was shocked. After I saw that, I was like, damn, dude, I got to upgrade my A7S. I never thought I would have to say that or do that. But now after watching that footage side by side, I'm going to have to upgrade that camera, because the freaking camera looked like it was out of focus the whole time. It was really insane. Okay, cool. Awesome, guys. I'm getting good feedback on the quality of the live stream. So I'm in a good part of the house. Parts of the house are a little bit blotchy with internet. But yeah, so it looks like I'm in a good part of the house, which is good. Okay. Keith Khan, what's going on, man? What can you say? Okay, we talked about, hey, brother, outside of your YouTube videos and reviews, what other productions do you do? Documentary work, short film? So right now I'm working a lot in the fitness industry. I'm producing a lot of fitness content. Over the summer, I will be producing my second music video, which I'm very excited for. But currently, I'm doing a lot of fitness work with some celebrity YouTubers like Rob Riches, Lauren Drain. I used to do stuff with Paige Hathaway. So that's, I'm getting very busy with the fitness stuff. For those of you who aren't into fitness, I'm sorry if I called out a few names that you probably don't know, but yeah, I'm starting to work with a company called Fit Plan. So if you guys want to Google them, they're pretty big. So I'll be working with Fit Plan soon. I'm producing a video with them in the next couple weeks, I believe. So that'll be exciting. But my ultimate goal is to definitely transition into something like music videos, short films. I'm not a big fan of producing. It's just, for me, it's just organizing too much, and I like to have more control over my business rather than depending on other people. Music videos for me are a lot more manageable, so I definitely want to transition into music videos. So that's what I'm up to. Good question. Are you using Teradek video on your live stream? Because it's so clear right now. Wow, I'm so happy. No, I'm not. I'm actually, YouTube upgraded their live stream platform, and I'm using my webcam on my MacBook Pro. So props to YouTube for finally doing something good. Finally, YouTube is doing something good, guys. Give YouTube a round of applause, because this is the first positive thing they've done in such a long time. I don't mean to verbally bash YouTube, but lately they've just not been doing a good job. But with their live stream, this is good. This is really nice. Okay, can I use the Crane 2 on a tripod monopod, and I use the new gyro remote for seamless camera movements? Heck yeah, you can, man. Heck yeah, you can. So I released a video this morning actually, on this carbon fiber tripod, which actually converts into a monopod. You can easily mount your Crane 2 onto that thing. And if you want, I'm going to demo this in a future tutorial video, we're going to mount this remote system onto the dual handles. And then I'm going to hand off the gimbal to an operator, and I'm going to control the gimbal's movements through the gyroscope in the remote. And all the operator is going to do is just walk. And I'll be doing the panning and the tilting. So yeah, I would love to demo that for you guys using the remote. My review on this thing should be out in about a week or so. I'm having some issues upgrading the firmware on the follow focus module. Let me see if I can reach it here. Come on. There you are. All right. So here's the follow focus module. A little bit of a tough time connecting it to my computer, but I'll figure it out. I'm getting close. But yeah, this is the sucker I got to upgrade just so I can use A and B points. That way I won't over torque the gear. So that way I'll set the start point and the end point, and it won't over torque anything. I will also be releasing, I have a ton of tutorials, guys. I know the last couple of weeks have been a little bit insane with these reviews. Reviews are not popular on my channel, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people just want me to demo the products and show them how to use it. I get it, I understand, but reviews are also important. So I'm gonna try and incorporate more tutorials and reviews together. Maybe I can start doing content like that, and yeah. All right. When to use Steadicam. I have a video on that. Check it out on my YouTube channel. When to use the Steadicam compared to handheld. I have a video dedicated to just that. Your live stream is super clear here in the Philippines. Sending all my support to your future videos. Thank you so much, Kenny. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. Again, YouTube did something really good here with the live stream. So a lot of things are happening with YouTube apparently when it comes down to live streams, because now it's working and it's not glitching. I want to test it out on my phone too, because previously what would happen is my live stream would just cut out on my phone and my phone would just crash. But Halvin Wolf, thank you so much for your donation, brother. Thank you for your super chat, dude. I appreciate you. One of my earliest supporters. My earliest supporter right here, one of them. But yeah, so guys, any questions? Let's answer some questions here. I would love to chat. I have some time before I go pump some iron at the gym. I just ate, so I'm waiting for that stuff to go down. A little TMI, but whatever. Yeah. What you guys got for me? Come on, any questions? Don't be shy. You can't just be watching my face the whole time. I'm not that interesting, am I? Oh man. Shooting my first commercial, Josh. Damn, dude. Where at? What are you shooting? What are you shooting, dude? What kind of commercial is it? I don't get stable on my Steadicam. Uh-oh. I need to do another glide cam tutorial, it looks like, because lately, guys, I've been getting some ridiculous, crazy emails. People actually yelling at me, being like, I can't get my Steadicam to work. My glide cam doesn't work. Help me, help me. I haven't made a YouTube video on glide cams in months, so people are tripping out. I understand. Don't worry, I'm going to get back to it. Trust me, it'll be fine. But try to watch as many of my glide cam tutorials as you can, the ones that I already have, because I do have some golden nuggets in there for you. You got to watch very, very carefully. I have hours of content on glide cams. Halvin Wolf says, I'm the new creative director for the Fresh Dolls. Sick, dude. So what kind of commercials are you going to be shooting with them? Like promos, skits? Like what are you going to be doing? You'll be shooting the commercial for the line. Damn, dude. All right, so my biggest tip, man, if you're going to be showcasing off these dolls, man, you got to get close-ups. I'm talking about macro, like the detail, like the quality of the doll, you know? And you got to get the eyes, you got to get the hair. But you already do all that. I see your Instagram stuff. You get a lot of those detail shots. But yeah, details, lighting, your lighting is A+. A lot of movement, in my opinion, but because dolls are tiny, you're going to have to be very, very stable with your movements. So, oh man, it's going to be tricky, which is why I would recommend using a slider to get those nice parallax shots with a shallow depth field, get nice close-ups on the hair, eyes, and the materials that the doll's made out of, the clothes. That's all important, I would say. I've never shot dolls before, so I'm just spitballing here. Mark is saying, hoping you make a comparison about the DJI Ronin S and the June Crane Plus. More power to your channel, bro. Okay, let's talk about the Ronin S. Let's talk about the Crane Plus and Crane 2s, all right? So DJI has not released any specs on the Ronin S or the Ronin. They have two different versions of the Ronin S. They have one for the mirrorless cameras. They have one for DSLR cameras. I think my predictions are going to be very accurate here. The Ronin S is going to have a payload of up to about 8.5 pounds. Okay, that's my prediction with the Ronin. Price under $1,000, more expensive than the Crane series. All right. I already know that's going to happen. I know. I played around with the Ronin S at NAB. Too heavy. Too heavy. First of all, let's take a look at the Crane 2 here. So Crane 2, some specs. We do have a 7-pound payload, which honestly for any DSLR, including a 1DX Mark II, even an FS5 from Sony, that's enough weight. Honestly, anything above 5.5 pounds, I would say use a really big gimbal, because these pistol grip gimbals, they're getting bigger now because of the higher payload capacity motors. Everything is getting bigger. So 7 pounds is already over the top. If you're going above 5.5 pounds on a gimbal, I would use that extra 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds or so as a leeway for, let's say, like wind resistance. You want powerful motors to help you absorb a lot of that wind. If you're shooting outside of a moving car, if you're shooting, in 35, 40 mile per hour winds, you need a gimbal that's going to be very stable. Now, this is the thing. This is why I tend to choose a gimbal over a glide cam. In windy conditions, you cannot control a glide cam. There's just no way. With the gimbal, it automatically adjusts. It measures inertia, it does all that good stuff. So it compensates for that wind, okay? You don't get that with a glide cam, unfortunately. Ronin S, One design flaw I'm not a big fan of, but people think it's such a great design. So let's cover that. So here we have the Crane 2, correct? People love the fact that on the Ronin S, they drop down the motor to 45 degrees. Okay, people think that it's unreal, it's amazing, it's great. In my opinion, I'm not a huge fan of that design. Number one is that if I want to do POV movements like this, what's going to happen is that the camera is going to end up tilting up because of that motor placement. So if I want to manually control the roll with the joystick, it's going to end up giving me an unstable or unleveled roll. Because the motor on this one is at 90 degrees, we can get a clean, stable roll on this axis. So that for me is kind of a buzzkill. I already have a good view of my screen with this motor in the way. I don't know why people don't like that design too much. For me, I don't care. I see the screen just fine. But I do like the motor here. I do like the motor here a lot. If they find a way, if Jiwin finds a way to mount the motor here and still get me clean POV or clean roll, I won't mind at all. But as of right now, this motor being here at 90 degrees does not bother me one bit. Okay. Now let's compare this to the Ronin S. Okay. First of all, or second of all, we have an LCD screen here, which gives you real-time data of the gimbal. That's not going to happen on the Ronin S. No LCD screen. I saw it twice, both at CES and at NAB. No LCD screen. Second thing, no built-in follow focus wheel. You're going to have to buy that as a separate unit. You're already looking at over $1,000, well over $1,000. I think you're looking at probably $1,100-1,200 already, which is $400 or $500 over the price of this one. Battery life, I can promise you that the Ronin S battery life is not going to be anywhere close to the battery life on this thing. This is 18 hours. The Ronin S, what I'm speculating about 8 hours based off of their recent gimbals, the other Ronin series gimbals, which got you about 8 hours as well. So I don't think they're going to compete with Jiwin with the gimbals. Battery life, nope. And features, I don't think they're going to compete. I think Jiwin is really setting the bar. I'm not just saying this. I'm passionate about this stuff, man. I love gimbals like so much. I love anything with motion control built in. So I'll tell you right now, I think Jiwin is leading the market with gimbals right now. They're being the most innovative. I mean, integrating a follow focus with the gimbal, no other company has done that before. So yeah, that's my take on the Ronin. And I mean, this little thing from DJI, I'm sure will be a lot more expensive too. This is, I believe, around $200, $250. It's going to be, I think, around $400 or $500 from DJI. So I don't think it's going to be anywhere as affordable as the Crane 2. All right, let's answer some questions. Oh, my neck. All right. Alrighty then. Okay. Hey, man. What editing suite are you using at the moment? DaVinci Resolve 15 is worth a shot. It's the future. Okay, so this is what I've been testing out lately. So I use Final Cut Pro with Colorista from a company called Red Giant. Colorista is a $300 color correction software kit. It's fully integrated into Final Cut Pro, and it saved me a lot. I've been using the trial. I love it. And man, it's good stuff. Colorista is good stuff. I don't know how much DaVinci is. I had DaVinci Lite, which is the free version. I haven't used it much. It looked very complicated, but it looked awesome too. But Colorista was a lot more user-friendly. And Red Giant is a great company. They have a lot of Final Cut Pro plugins, so check them out. But yeah, for coloring, I use Red Giant. There's a couple other programs I want to look at, such as Koji Advance. That looks like a cool color. That's not color correction, that's color grading. Koji Advanced does color grading. We also have Film Convert. That's another one. Philip Bloom uses that a lot. That's not color correction. That's color grading. But for color correction, I've been using Colorista. That helped me a lot. Helped me fix with my highlights, my shadows, my midtones, and my contrast. Colorista honestly detects anything that's wrong with those levels and gives you its recommendations based on waveforms. So I went off of those recommendations from Colorista, and so far I've been very happy with the results. I've had a lot of shots that I put on YouTube that were blown out, and Colorista was able to fix a lot of those blown out colors either by softening them or slightly changing the colors so it doesn't look like it's actually blown out. So yeah, Colorista is definitely a program to look at. It's affordable. It's $300. That's the price of Final Cut Pro. So yeah, definitely look into that. Thank you, D, for the question. I appreciate it, bro. Which video camera would you recommend under $1,000? Panasonic GH4. Yeah. You can get a used one for well under $1,000, I think now. I sold my GH4 for $650. So yeah, for under $1,000, you'll be able to get a kit lens and a GH4 for under $1,000. Yeah, definitely GH4. The only downside with the GH4 is the bad focus. Very, very bad autofocus, I mean. So you're gonna have to mainly use your eyes for focus and control focus manually. But yeah, for under $1,000, GH4 with a kit lens, done. You're not gonna get a better setup than that. William Craig says, new to your channel, greetings from Memphis, Tennessee. What up, William? Thank you so much for joining the Momentum Squad or the Momentum Fam, however you guys want to call it. Unofficial Callum says, I can't operate my Flycam 3000 like at all. I know, man. Dude, I'm sorry. This is partially my fault. I was supposed to release a ton of new manual glide cam tutorials. They're coming, dude. People have been yelling at me on Facebook and emailing me with crazy questions, like literally people yelling at me through text saying, when the hell are you going to be uploading a new tutorial? So I know, guys, it's coming. It's coming. I'm only asking for patience. I have a lot of gear I have to review. You can expect a new tutorial within 2 to 3 weeks at the latest. And meanwhile, while you're here, you got to check out my GlideCam playlist and watch as many of those videos as you possibly can, because they're definitely going to help you. I have some golden nuggets in those videos for you. Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay. Can you roll the axis on the Zhiyun Smooth 4? They are actually that possibility is going to happen. As of right now, not right. It doesn't work like that right now, but it's going to happen. Roll will happen on the Smooth 4 via a firmware update. So as soon as I update that firmware, I will let you know. But it's coming. It's coming. What is the point of view shot? So the point of view shot is basically the ability to control roll on your gimbal. So be able to control the roll axis. So that's the point of view shot. But I've covered point of view in my videos though, so check out my videos. Computex 2018, are you going to Taiwan? I'm not, unfortunately. I want to, but I'm not. Okay, how about the new camera from Blackmagic Cinema Camera? It's impressive, man. 4K 60 RAW. I'm going to pass. I'm a Sony guy. I have all my faith in Sony. I'll tell you why. Sony is going to be releasing 100-some megapixel sensor very, very soon. You guys, if you have Sony right now, be loyal to Sony because they're going to blow everybody out of the water. Canon was the first to blow everybody out of the water, but now Sony's taking control. Panasonic was on the tip. They're falling off a little bit because Sony is going to start bouncing back with their A7 III, which literally killed, I think, most of the cameras on the market today. For $2,000, you're getting way too much than what you pay for. So A7 III definitely considering that camera rather than the A7S III, since I'm pretty sure I'm going to be very accurate in my predictions with that camera. No 4K 60, no 10-bit internal, none of that. Just upgraded features like we saw on the A7 III, such as touchscreen focus, bigger battery, more ergonomic dials, better 5-axis stabilization on the sensor, maybe a slightly higher megapixel count, better resolution on the LCD screen and on the viewfinder. But those little tiny things, you know, beyond that, unfortunately, I don't see much happening to the A7S Mark III. So if that's the case, I will be getting the A7 III, since it will most likely be about $1,000 to $1,500 cheaper, and it will most likely be a lot more suitable for my needs. The A7 series cameras, guys, the A7 III, unreal in low light. After all the shots that I've seen, the test shots, the test footage, it performs so well in low light, a lot better than what I would need it for. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Halvin Wolf says that he's still using Filmora. Filmora is cool. DaVinci had Fusion built in now, also for effects. 300 for the studio version of DaVinci. It's actually become the all-around package. 300, damn. Okay. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna take a look at that. I'm gonna take a look at that DaVinci. You know, Blackmagic makes DaVinci. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of Blackmagic, but DaVinci is great software. I remember Blackmagic's first cinema camera that they launched, god awful camera. It was so awful. I used it. I used to take a film course in Santa Monica College, and we had a Blackmagic, and it was just so awful. The ergonomics, the battery life, and the picture quality. Ugh. My 5D Mark II shot better than the Blackmagic. I mean, come on. So I was not, ever since I put my hands on that Blackmagic, I just lost faith in that company. So I wasn't really looking forward to any future Blackmagic cameras after that. What do you think of the Atomos screen recorders? What do I think? I've seen one. I've never actually used one. I've seen them at NAB, and Jason Bong has one, and he's been very happy with it. I have yet to have touched or played with one, so I can't give you my honest feedback on the Shogun or the Ninja Flame. I can't give you my honest opinion since I don't have it. But I hope I will get a test unit sent out to me. That would be awesome. I would love to show you guys all of that technology. Yeah, cool, good question. Let me tilt this down a little bit more. There we go. Any more questions, guys? Let me know. I do have a lot of gear set up right now, so if you have any questions on some standard, settings for your camera or lighting, I have, how many lights do I have set up here? Looks like I have 2 Fresnels set up. Yeah, I have 2 Fresnels and 1 bicolor LED panel. My 120D is in the other room, packed up, and then I have a few other Fresnels that are packed up right here. I have another light panel that's not set up. Dude, I have so many lights, it's ridiculous. And as a filmmaker, you can never have enough lights, to be honest. You should have enough lighting to light up a city if you want to be a filmmaker. You can never have enough lights, honestly. Lighting is just, ooh. Everybody could use lights. That's why you never see a lot of people selling their light kits unless brand new LED technology comes out. I mean, I don't plan on selling any of my LEDs. I've never owned any tungsten or halogen bulbs, for example. If I did, I would have sold that immediately for LEDs. But my current LED panels, I have no desire to sell them because they produce such great light, and they're cheap, very affordable. They don't heat up anywhere near like halogen bulbs do. So yeah, I'm keeping my LED lights. D is also another early supporter, guys. So check out D. I don't know if D has any content on his channel, but if he does, check him out. Definitely a great guy. So Dee's saying, I'm still very much learning how to use DaVinci for the edit. I'm using Prem also, but also my plan is to move away from Adobe completely within the next 6 months. I hate renting my software. So where would you go to? Are you on PC or Mac? Yeah, I would see why renting software would be a pain. Paying $30 a month for Creative Cloud is, yeah. That's why I'm with Final Cut. $300 for Final Cut, done, you own it. PACT just said, just pre-ordered an anamorphic lens. Ooh, I need to get my hands on one of those. Is there any Android app for de-squeeze the video clip? There is one for Final Cut. It's called, I think, lens distortion. So basically what it does, it works for fisheye lenses, but I'm sure that it can help out with anamorphics as well. Yeah, but I don't have too much data on that, but I think I have that plugin on my Final Cut. I'll have to look into that and let you know a little bit later. But yeah, there's definitely plugins that will help you out with that. If they can easily fix fisheye lenses, they can definitely help fix anamorphic lenses. Anamorphic are not nearly as squeezed as or stretched as fisheye lenses are. So you can definitely, yeah, I'm sure you can fix that in post. D says he sold his Mac last year. Ooh, damn, dude. So you're on PC. I started with PC and sold my PC for a Mac. We're the opposite, man. When I was on PC, I was using Sony Vegas. That was my favorite video editing software, way better than Adobe Premiere, in my opinion. It was faster. Everything looked better. It was a lot more user-friendly, and it's cheaper, too. Sony Vegas is, I think, $600. Adobe Premiere is around $1,000. So it's cheaper, and you get more built-in plugins as well. Do you have the June Smooth Q? Is that noise? Huh, don't know what that means. Hey, thanks for your videos on the June crane. You're welcome, my friends. New tutorials are coming out in next week. Yeah, new tutorials coming out next week. Michael says, I'm trying to decide between Final Cut Pro and DaVinci Resolve. I'm on Mac and have been since 1984. Wow. I was born in 92, man. But yeah, I'm using Final Cut Pro. They've recently updated their color correction. It's not that great still. DaVinci is definitely going to get you better results. But if you're willing to spend $300, get DaVinci, get Final Cut, and work them side by side. That's my opinion. D says, yeah, I'm tired of Premiere crashing. Also had a major issue to the point where I was unable to even open up my... Wow. Dude. Your panels wouldn't open up? That's insane. My color wheels, man. I got to get my color wheels. My chroma keying, and I haven't used chroma key in a long time. Yeah, that's a problem. Any more questions, guys? Come on. It's a Saturday. We get to chill out together. Carlos is asking, by the way, how do you find the quality of the June products? I like them. I like them a lot. I haven't ran into any crazy issues. So here's the thing. I used to have, or I still actually have, the Moza Air. And I'll tell you, here's a little inside tip for those of you deciding on which gimbal to buy. So Moza, what happened with Moza is that they also make a good gimbal, but their firmware is incredibly unstable. Incredibly unstable. When I got their Aircross, their Aircross, is it Aircross? No, Moza Air. When I got their Moza Air and I was testing out their firmware, I was doing whatever I could to break it. I was able to break the firmware within about 2 or 3 hours. And by breaking the firmware, I mean put some random settings in there, see if I could do a factory reset. No factory reset. I was able to actually not fry the gimbal, but break the firmware to the point where the gimbal would just stop working. So it took me hours and hours and hours to fix the Moza Air. I had to reprogram it manually. Don't ask me how I was able to do it, but I did it, and it was such a headache. With the Joon gimbals, there is a factory reset button in the app. So if you screw around with the settings to the point where your gimbal just starts doing crazy stuff, boop, factory reset, wipes all of the settings that you've done, restores it to factory defaults. The Moza didn't have that. I don't know if they still do, but I think they even did have factory reset at that time, and it still didn't work. So Moza, even though it is a good gimbal, their firmware is very sketchy. So that's why I'm using Joon Crane. I have their Crane Plus, their Crane 2. I recently sold my V2 because I just didn't need it anymore. But yeah, man, I'll tell you right now, I think Joon's firmware on the gimbal is the best because there's just no glitches with it. It's very reliable. Michael Sanders says, just got the Crane 2 based on your review, and I love it. Awesome, man. Honestly, Joon nailed it with the Crane 2. I haven't found any issues with the Crane 2. With the Crane Plus, it can be a little quirky at times, but with the Crane 2, I think it is a masterpiece. And I know that sounds a little weird, me saying that, but it is. That gimbal, man, I do think the Crane 2, they really hit the mark with that gimbal. LCD screen, follow focus unit. I mean, yeah, I honestly really do think they nailed it. It is my favorite gimbal. I sold my Came TV Argo. I no longer have the Argo, unfortunately. It was just sitting in my closet collecting dust. I had to get rid of it. Somebody else is using it now. So yeah, Came TV, no more gimbal from Came TV. I do still have their lights, though. I have their Fresnel lights, the Bolton series. I think those are very cool lights. I love them. So I'm going to keep their Bolton lights. But yeah. Next question. Okay. D says, download the free version of DaVinci. Michael, it's free. I pay because I need to be able to import 10-bit files, but if you don't need that, give it a shot. Free, it's the best kind of price. Ha ha ha. D is right. Get DaVinci Resolve Lite for free. You will love it. Morris says, what do you think of Corel Video Studio? I used to work on Corel a long time ago when I was just first getting started. Corel's like $60. Definitely a good program to get started with, but if you want to do paid gigs, it's not gonna cut it. You're gonna need to upgrade to something more professional like Sony Vegas or yeah, Corel Video Movie Studio is a great starter program. So if you want to learn the ins and outs on how a timeline works, I don't even know if it does color correction, Corel Video Studio. It might do some light color correction. If you want to learn Chroma Keying, Corel Video Studio also does Chroma Keying. Great starter program, not great for down the road stuff when you want to get paid gigs done. But yeah, overall, it was one of the first programs that I actually learned. My first program was obviously Windows Movie Maker. That was the program that did it for me. And this was back in the day, like back in like 2006 or 2007 when I first just started to like pick up a camera. Yeah, it was Windows Movie Maker when the windows were still like in color and not transparent like they are now. Like it was back on Windows XP, so it was a while ago. Yeah. Carlos is asking, hey, did you do a video on hand holding versus gimbal? I am new to gimbals, but I find sometimes they work and sometimes they look too ghostly. Yes, I did a video just on that. You know what? Give me a second and I'll find it for you. It's titled Handheld versus Gimbal. Let me see. Ooh, yeah, here it is. Check it out. I'm going to send you the link to it right now in the chat. Check out that video. Okay. Carlos is asking, when is the best time to, or circumstances to use a gimbal? Watch that video and you will learn when the best circumstances are. I cover all of that. D says Movie Maker was the gatekeeper. Yeah, Movie Maker, honestly, guys, if you're like fresh on the boat of filmmaking, fresh on the boat, start with was it Movie Maker? Yeah, Windows Movie Maker. That is the one program that will just get you hooked. It's so basic though, like you can barely do anything, but that's the one program that will get you hooked onto video editing. So yeah, check that out. Or iMovie, depending on whether or not you have a Mac or PC. Frustrated with the Sony file naming, it resets. Honestly, I'm a little frustrated with that too, especially if you plan on shooting multiple days and then importing it into the same project on Final Cut, especially. It's a disaster. I thought for some reason in the Sony menu, they have a file numbering system where you can select reset or continuous. I selected continuous, but however, whenever I format the SD card, it's not continuous. It resets back to 0. So I don't know if that's a glitch or if they want it to be like that, but yeah, you should have continuous file naming instead of reset every single time you format the card. The camera is supposed to remember what the last number of the clip that was recorded. So it's a pain. I've ran into some issues, but hopefully Sony will fix that firmware. Any more questions, guys? We got some good comments. Really good comments here today. Any more comments, guys? We've been online for a while. That's good. I'm happy. Makes me smile. Puts me in a good mood. I'm checking some stats here really quick. Can you put the A7R3 on the Crane 2 with the battery grip? Yes, you can. I have my A9, which is the same size as the A7R3, and I have a battery grip. You can definitely put on the Crane 2. My suggestion is that you need to get the deeper or bigger base plate for the Crane 2. Zhiyun makes it so you can order it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to properly balance it. But yes, you can definitely mount it with that adjustment. Or if you don't want to do that adjustment, you can loosen up the screws on the pitch motor and drop down the base plate and mount it that way. So yeah, you can definitely do that. The 1DX Mark II is fully compatible with the Crane 2 gimbal. So if that camera can do it, so can a Sony with a battery grip. So yeah. Scott Johnson with the 25105 G Master. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely. If I mounted my 70 to 200, 25 to 105, definitely. Morris is asking, what is the most affordable and best color correcting software? Well, Dee just mentioned that DaVinci Resolve is $300, and that I think looks pretty damn good. So check out DaVinci Resolve. Dee says, that was an impressive ad on the new Blackmagic cam. You can record directly to an SSD. Time saver. The one thing I found odd was that they marketed it for vloggers, but you can't move the screen. Blackmagic for vloggers? That's a little bit too over the top, in my opinion. I don't think Jake Paul would be using a Blackmagic camera. No, I did a shoot with Logan Paul not too long ago. We did a thing called a What's in the Box challenge. And I talked to Logan Paul's camera guy, Brandon at the time, before all this whole Japanese suicide forest thing happened. This was before that. And he was using a Sony A7R2 with a 70 with a 24 to 70 G Master. That was his vlogging setup. And he had a Rode Stereo Video Mic Pro as the sound. Yeah. So that was Logan Paul's setup. For those of you who are wondering what a vlogger uses, I mean, Logan Paul is the biggest vlogger on YouTube right now. So yeah, so I met him. Before I met Logan, I was actually working with Jake Paul in 2015 before he started Team 10. This is like some low key, like between you and me. All right, I'm not gonna tell anybody else this on my YouTube, but between you and me, guys, like, yes, I worked with Logan Paul. I've worked with Jake Paul. So, and I've worked with what are they called? Clout Gang? Oh no, not Clout Gang. FaZe, the FaZe Clan. I don't know if you guys are into that stuff, but yeah, I worked with them too. I was at the FaZe house, all that crap. Yeah. Yeah, so we did some challenges with them. So yeah, I've worked with a bunch of vloggers and I know what they're using. A lot of them are using gear that you would not expect. None of them were using a Sony RX100. A lot of them were using Canon cameras, like a Canon what's that camera called? I don't even follow Canon anymore. I don't know what the products are called anymore. Those Canon point and shoots. I forgot the name. G7X, I think it's called, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that is what most vloggers use. Like Justine, she uses the G7X from Canon, but I didn't see anyone really use the RX100. But as I mentioned before, you know, Logan Paul uses Sony A7R2 with a 24 to 70 G Master, heavy setup with a GorillaPod as well. But yeah, that's what he shoots with. So yeah, if you guys were wondering, yeah, that's what he shoots with. And for those of you who are wondering, we were doing a what's in the box challenge with reptiles. So he would actually reach in the box, feel around the box without being able to look what's inside, and he would have to feel around to see what reptiles in there. So it was pretty freaky. He got scared a few times, so that was funny. Yeah. Okay, next question. The FaZe Clan, they sound dangerous. No, they're not. Not at all, dude. I mean, these guys are the top vloggers on YouTube, and I don't know. Yeah, it's just vlogging is not my thing. I want to get into it, but not to the point where I'm like causing all this drama and all that crap. I don't. There's so much YouTube drama right now, guys. You have no idea. I was actually in a little bit of, I guess you could say, YouTube drama back in early 2016 with a YouTuber. A little bit of drama. She didn't publicize it though, which was good, but a little bit of drama. I'm not gonna get too into it, but yeah, I almost stepped into that drama stuff, guys. It's not fun. It's not fun. Yeah. Alrighty. Any more questions, guys? I gave you a little bit of a background of what I used to do. You know, let me talk more about what I did when I first got into this whole YouTube craze. My first professional job was creative content director at a dating company, dating agency. So I was actually filming a lot of dating advice videos. This was in 2014, 2015, and very early 2016. I was doing dating advice videos. I was filming all that stuff, walking around the city, filming pickup videos, undercover stuff. I was actually shooting with my 5D Mark II from Canon with 28 to 135 kit lens, and the quality came out pretty damn good. So that's the type of stuff I started my pro career with. 5D Mark II, 28 to 135. I also had a big TV camera from Canon called the XF305. It's not a camera anymore. I mean, they don't sell it anymore, but that was what I was using. What is your preferred sound recorder? Zoom H6, hands down. I have it set up right behind the computer here. Zoom H6, hands down. Best recorder I've ever seen. 6 inputs. You have a built-in mixer. It's great. The only thing that I don't like about the H6, it's been very wonky with SD cards. It's not being able, it hasn't been able to detect a few, and it's a little strange. Maybe the contacts are dirty or something on the card or on the internal reader, but I don't know. Maybe they came out with a new firmware. Maybe I can check that out. But yeah, I use the Zoom H6, and for the most part, it's been great. Are you a fan of the Logitech G3 II camera? I have no idea what that is. Carlos says you should do a review. I should do a review on the H6, the Zoom H6. Yeah, I might as well, you know. It's old though. I got it almost like what, a year ago? Yeah. Almost a year ago. I still have to knock out a review for this guy. For this G Master. That's going to take me a while because there's a lot of stuff to say about this lens. I mean, look at this. It's a monster. It's a monster. I don't know how people deal with 400 mil lenses, but this thing is just, damn. It's a big guy. It is a big, big hunk of metal. Look at that. I love that G Master logo there. Oh, looks so good. But yeah, that's the G Master with the Sony A9. Yeah, and here's my A7S Mark I, guys. I'm still rocking out with the Mark I. This camera is 5 years old, and I'm still using it. But here's the thing. My next set of cameras, so I'm going to keep my A9 for 5 years. I made an oath to myself. I'm going to keep that camera for 5 years. It's too expensive to keep swapping out with other cameras. So I'm just going to keep it for 5 years. My A7S Mark III or A7 III, I'm going to keep for maybe 3 or 4 years. It's not affordable. It's not logical to swap out camera gear every other year. It's not. Why do you think the changes in the cameras are so minimal each year? I mean, you can't. As soon as you buy a new camera, something brand new has already been invented. So there's no point in swapping out cameras every other year. My MacBook, I keep for at least 4 to 5 years and then I upgrade. So that's the thing with technology, guys. As soon as you buy something new, it's already outdated. So you gotta just refrain from buying new gear. Wear a shock collar if you have to, like, control yourself. I'm guilty of it. I feel like I need to buy everything like the latest tech in the world, but I have that disorder. But I love gear. I love technology. So I'm gonna try and slow down with camera upgrading. When it comes down to lenses, go crazy on lenses. You can never have enough lenses. You can never have enough lights. You can never have enough lenses and lights. Audio equipment, you don't even have to upgrade really either, unless, you don't really have to upgrade if you have an H6, a Sennheiser MK something, I don't have that mic, but I have the Rode NTG2. If you have a good, standardized boom mic, an H6, a lavalier microphone or two, you don't really need to, step it up on your audio department. You're going to be pretty good. But I would say the biggest thing that you need to focus on is lenses and lights, guys. That's the number one thing you got to focus on. Gimbals, honestly, guys, once you have a gimbal like this one here, like the Crane 2, I feel like is the most modular gimbal. So if you buy something like this, it will last you a long time because it has so many different features. It's modular. You can add a ton of stuff to it. So if you have a gimbal like this, guys, you're set. You don't need any other gimbal. This is it. This is all you really need. Yeah, you can buy accessories for it, and that's fine. But when it comes down to gimbals and stuff like that, buy it once. You most likely will never have to upgrade it again unless they come out with some crazy-ass new feature in the future where it's like, wow, I really need that. So unless they come out with a feature that's like, okay, I'm going to be using that every day. No. When it comes down to drones, all right, this was the biggest shocker to me. I haven't touched my DJI Mavic in months, probably 4 or 5 months. And it's really, really sad because I know that they're going to release the DJI Mavic 2 soon. It's going to have a 1-inch sensor. Then the Phantom 5 is going to come out with interchangeable lenses. And I'm like, I want it, but when am I going to use it? You know? Laws are so strict here in Los Angeles. It's like as soon as you take it out, you're going to get a fine or you're going to get arrested. I mean, what the hell is the point of having a drone anymore? Like the government already killed the fun of having a drone. I remember my Inspire, I would fly that thing 3-4 hours a day nonstop because there were no laws on drones and it was just so much fun to fly. But now because there's so many laws, man, it's tough. You know, I can't enjoy my Mavic anymore like I used to. So hopefully I won't go crazy and buy a new drone as soon as they release it. But knowing me, I probably will. Okay. What did you do before you started making videos? That's a good question, Daniel. Okay. What did I do before I started making videos? Well, I was always sort of around the entertainment type industry. I mean, before I was doing videos, what was I doing before videos? I started doing videos at the age of, was it 18? Before that, I wasn't really doing, I mean, I'm only 25 right now, so I don't have that much of a career, history in my career. I've been doing video stuff for, what, 8 years? 7, 8 years? So not that long. So before I was 18, I didn't really have a steady job. I never worked a 9-to-5 job. I never worked at a convenience store. But yeah, I was, you know, kind of in between jobs. I worked a couple of seasonal jobs. I was a Halloween scare for a few seasons, so that was fun. Yeah, I worked in this maze and I was scaring people for money, so that was kind of fun. But besides that, I never really worked a 9-to-5 job. It was always around either teaching or filming. I used to teach a summer camp for a school, an after-school program. I was teaching kids how to do short films and claymation and a little bit of animation, stop motion. So that's what I was doing before I started YouTube. Yeah. Next question. Good ND filters are always a great thing to have. Easily forgotten about. Yes, definitely. Good ND filters, good polarizers as well. Actually, when I bought my G Master, B&H threw in a free polarizer from this German company. I think they're called B&W. I don't think I have it on right now. Yeah, they threw in a cool polarizer. And it actually, polarizers stop down the light going into your lens just a tiny bit, because there is a film on polarizers. There is a film, so it's going to stop down light just a little bit. So in a way, it kind of works as an ND, but it does a great job of removing a lot of reflections in glass and all that stuff. So yeah, I use cheap ND filters, which is probably not a good thing to do, but a lot of my shoots happen indoors, so I rarely use ND filters. I use a company called Fotka for my ND filters, and overall I've been pretty happy with the results. The colors remained, the picture remained sharp. Overall colors still remained pretty accurate. White balance hasn't changed. So I'm pretty happy with the Fotka ND filters, and they're very cheap. They're like 25, 30 bucks. I'm not a big fan of spending 100, 150 bucks for very expensive ND filters. I'd rather just use a $30 fader and just stick with that. It might not be the best preference for a lot of you, but for me, I'm a budget filmmaker. I don't want to spend money on things that I'm not going to use too often. So, yeah. Same problem with drones. There are so many restrictions. Yeah, I completely agree. Any experience with the new Sigma E-mount autofocus? Thinking about the A7S III when it comes out, the Sigma 35mm. Yeah, so at NAB, I played around with the new Sigma lenses. Autofocus is still slow. I mean, it's there, but it's slow. I used it on my A9 especially, and autofocus on the A9 is supposed to be blistering fast. But it was still just mediocre and slow. Definitely not good enough for sports photography. They're good enough for portrait photography. Yeah, for portrait stuff. For weddings, I think you're pushing it with weddings because people are walking around during weddings. People are partying during weddings. I would not rely on Sigma's autofocus for weddings. For portraits, yes. For sports, no. It's slow. I'm being honest with you. I love the picture quality, fantastic, but slow. They're gonna get there, but this is not their year, in my opinion. They're cheap too. They're very, very affordable. D says Gobe ND filters are decent and good price too. I'm gonna check those out, D. Thank you. Ooh, D, I can't believe you just asked that question, bro. What do you think about replacing your A9 with the A7 III? Oh. Look, they put like the same autofocusing system on the A7 III, same number of autofocus points, but the speed is still not there. A9 is still faster than the A7 III, especially with the buffering. You can buffer a lot more photos in a quicker amount of time on the A9 than you can on the A7 III. Also, you have silent shutter on the A9 with zero distortion. That's something you cannot find on the A7 III. So this is definitely a great wedding camera as well because you want to be quiet. You don't want your shutter to get picked up on the audio recorders at the wedding. So the A9 is an outstanding camera for sports, for weddings. If you want to be very stealthy, the A9 is the camera for you. It has that buffering. It has the high shutter, the high frame rate, 20 frames per second, and it has that zero distortion in silent shutter mode. So the A7 III doesn't have those features. So no, I won't be replacing my A9. I have a 5-year warranty on it. I want to live it through. So I want to keep my A9 for 5 years. That's the goal. It's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to try and force myself. What I will be doing is replacing my A7S Mark I. I will probably, depending on the specs on the S3, I will either upgrade to the S3 or go to the A7 III. Because guess what? The A7S is already 5 years old, and that's my rule. Replace gear every 5 years. I think that's a very solid rule to go by. Expensive gear like these, keep them for at least 5 years. I think that's like the lifespan of average technology like this. 5 years, upgrade. That's great. Lenses, in my opinion, lenses you can keep forever. I mean, Zeiss lenses, I don't plan on selling my Zeiss glass anytime soon. I've had this lens already for a year. My other Zeiss lens I've had for 2 years. Never been happier with them. Not a scratch on the glass at all. So I don't plan on upgrading or downgrading or anything like that. So yeah, when it comes down to, as I said earlier, when it comes down to upgrading stuff, cameras every 5 years, done. That's it. Collect as many lenses as you can. Collect as many lights as you can. Gimbals, you probably only need one, depending on your setup and your future proofing and how you and what kind of gear you tend to shoot on. All depends on those factors. So yeah, stick to the 5-year rule. I think that's going to really benefit you. And I was attending an Aperture. Aperture does these awesome workshops, these filmmaking workshops, and this one guy, Crisco Art, that's his YouTube channel. He uses such simple gear. He still uses the A7S Mark I, and he was able to capture some outstanding footage with it. And he said exactly what I'm telling you guys right now during that workshop. He said, you don't need the fanciest equipment. You don't need the fanciest cameras, guys. If a job requires you to use the best of the best, then rent it. You don't have to necessarily own it. So use gear that will give you decent quality images, but won't restrict you from your creativity. That way you'll still be able to create the stuff that you want to create and have pretty good picture. But as for me, I do need to kind of keep up with the times. Production quality does need to go up. So I do every now and then, every 5 years, like I said, I upgrade my cameras because I feel like that's the lifespan of these cameras. Yeah, so I hope I touch base on that, helped you guys like clear your mind. Hopefully you'll be able to save some money this year because a lot of new cameras will be coming out. I'd go A9 all day, but the A7 III has some mystical type hype around it. Yeah, so yeah, so I think I answered your question. I mean, zero distortion on that 20 frame rate silent shutter, zero distortion. I mean, you can't get that on any other camera. So that alone is a deal breaker for me. The A9 also has a nice ergonomic feature here, which the A7 III and A7R III don't have, and that is a secondary autofocus to manual focus dial. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's another dial right here. And this also controls high burst shooting and a timer. So this dial I wish was on the A7 III and A7R III. I don't know why they didn't include it, but that's like another ergonomic feature I like on the A9 as well. But yeah, that's another thing. Joe is saying thoughts on lenses for astro, Milky Way, E-mount. So you want to astrophotography? That's something I'm learning too, my friend. So I don't know. You definitely need a fast lens. Wide angle lens, I would say maybe like a 14 millimeter Rokinon 2.8. That's a very favorable lens for night photography, astrophotography. 2.8, great aperture. If you can go higher than a 2.8, the better, but you don't want to lose that wide angle. You want to get the whole sky. You want to get a lot of stuff in there, a lot of stars. So yeah, I'm not a pro at astrophotography. I just know that you do need a fast lens, 2.8 or higher, wide angle, 14 mil, 16 mil. That's great. Stick to that. And use a camera that's also good with its ISO, meaning that you can go up to a high ISO and not get grainy images. So keep that in mind. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Halvin Wolf says, good stream, man. Thank you, Halvin. Thank you. Yeah, guys. So we've reached an hour and 12 minutes. I still got some energy. If you have any more questions, let me know. Also, guys, YouTube is doing that weird thing again with their algorithm, making it harder to discover my channel. So if you guys could share this channel with your friends, family, anybody who's interested in filmmaking, please do so. Let's try and get to 40,000 subscribers. Let's push this channel up. I want it to be a big, big community on the web. So try and share this channel with anybody you know who loves filmmaking or even just likes it. That would mean the world to me. I made this channel for you guys to teach you what I know, the ins and outs. So yeah, I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah. Any more questions? Let me know. Organic Farmer, what's up, man? What is a good monopod for a video or a gimbal that won't break or break the bank? Nothing cheap or flimsy. Dude, you need to watch my latest video, the one that I uploaded earlier today, and that was based on this carbon fiber tripod / monopod. This is carbon fiber, 189 bucks. It has reinforced metal on all of the hinges, and it's carbon fiber, so it's very light. And one of the legs unscrews and converts into a monopod. So you can easily attach your gimbal. I actually have a clip of me using this tripod or monopod with my gimbal. So check out the video I released earlier today, and you will see what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is a tripod by a company called K&F Concept. Fabulous tripod. I love it. These are just those, those mini tripods that, damn, they get the job done. It's carbon fiber. I love carbon fiber. It smells good too. So yeah, I rely on carbon fiber a lot. It is much more expensive than aluminum, but in the long run, it's worth it. So Organic Farmer, make sure to check that out. Want to get that flexible slider. Dude, Halvin Wolf, man, with these awesome questions. So I was supposed to review a slider from Waterbird. Waterbird produces a flexible slider, so you can actually wrap it around, let's say, like a tree or a plant and do a shot around it. I was in good contact with them for like a couple months, and then they just stopped responding to my emails randomly. So I don't know what's going on. They weren't at NAB either or CES. So I don't know if they're even still around. So hopefully they are, but they just don't respond anymore. But yeah, I don't know of any other company who's creating a flexible slider. D says carbon fiber is always good to be hiking around with, nice and light. And that's why I know this brand. My camera bag is from them, Russia brand, I think. Really well made. K&F is Russian? Really? I didn't know that. I mean, they reached out to me to review this tripod, and I think they're Chinese actually, because the woman who reached out to me, she actually sent me a Facebook message in Chinese. So I had to use Google Translation to translate the message. So I think they're a Chinese company, or maybe Russia hired a Chinese marketing agency. I don't know, but I think they're a Chinese company. They're very good quality. I mean, they didn't really cheap out on any part of that tripod. So, D, you said you ordered oh wow, you ordered a camera bag from them. Are you happy? You're happy with the camera bag? Because I think they're I think I'm gonna review one of their camera bags soon. So that's good. That's good to hear. I'm happy of that. Yeah. Very good. It's a good one. Awesome. Yeah, guys, any more questions? Any more questions? I have no plans today either, so we can talk all day if you guys want. That's good to have nothing to do. Little break. Have you tested how long the Andy Cine monitor can power a camera using a dummy battery? Yeah, I've tested it out. I've gotten about 3 hours out of it using the large 970 Sony batteries. 3 hours, yeah, that's about right. 3 hours, which is pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. Yeah. Yeah. Next week, ooh, guys, you don't know what I'm getting next week. I am getting a new monitor. At least they're shipping it to me next week. I don't know if I'll get it next week, but I'm getting a new 7-inch monitor. You ready to hear this? 2200 nits of brightness. 2200 nits. It's gonna blind me. I'm so excited. For those of you who don't know, we measure light with lumens and nits, and most monitors you'll see on the market today are rated at 450 nits or lower. That's just the standard. I think the iPhone is rated at like 500, 550 nits, maybe a little bit brighter, but this thing is 2200 nits. So you can look at this monitor in bright sunlight and see everything clearly without using a sun hood. That is a big deal. And this monitor will be the brightest monitor I own. All of my other monitors don't go above 500 nits. So this is going to be over 4 times the brightness of any monitor I currently own. Whoa, I'm excited. And I hope you guys are too. Yeah. D says, oh, completely wrong. The backpack is a brand called Caden. They definitely Russian. All right. Caden. Russian. I'm Russian too. So if you want to hook up, you let me know. I talk to my Russian people over there. Yeah. Yeah, guys. What else do you guys want to talk about? I actually have, so I reviewed 2 of these kinds of tripods. I reviewed a carbon fiber version, which is this one, and I reviewed a aluminum tripod like that. They're all collapsible. They're very small. This one's a little bit taller. But the collapsible one is also very good. It's not as strong. I feel like I don't feel as confident while using it with my gimbal when converting into a monopod. Carbon fiber is a lot stiffer, as I mentioned earlier, so it's going to get you that reassurance that your gimbal is not going to just fall off. Yeah. You know what? Let me turn on the light, guys. It's getting a little bit too dark here. Let me turn on this light. Sorry, guys. Not a great angle, but okay, that should be a little bit better. Ah, there we go. Now we have light. Cool beans. Flycam or June Crane? June Crane. I owned a Flycam was my first gimbal I ever owned. I hated it. Returned it the next day. So yeah, no Flycam for me. Okay. Mike Production says I'm Russian. Dobry wieczór, Mike. If you're Russian, you know exactly what I said. I have something from KNF. Can't remember what it is though. They also make ND filters. I have one of their ND filters. It's not that good. They don't make good ND filters, unfortunately. I think they're a new company. So, but it was also very cheap. So maybe that's why. Jason says, "Good morning. I'm your fan, watching from Japan." Awesome, brother. Awesome. Thank you. I love Japan. I want to go really bad. Yeah. Any more questions, guys? What you got for me? What you got for me? Oh, man. By the way, if you guys are interested in a battery grip for your A7 III or A9 or A7R3, I did review on a third-party battery grip for those cameras. So check it out. Go on my channel, look under the videos tab, and it's one of my earlier videos. My latest videos. So check it out. It's great, cheap, a lot of features. So let me know what you think about it. Diev Vinknish is asking, which camera is better, Nikon Coolpix P900 or Nikon D3400? I don't know either of those cameras. I am not a Nikon guy, so I can't really answer that question. I can only talk about the stuff that I own, but I do own a lot of stuff. So if you ask me questions about the stuff I do know about or own, that would be better. But go on Google or go on YouTube and type that into the video search, and I'm sure a person has compared those cameras. Have you gotten a chance to play with the mini dual handles for the Crane 2? Yeah, so I played around with it at the at NAB and at CES. I don't have them. I'm not going to request to get them simply because I like the dual handle system better. It feels more solid, and I have an issue with one of my shoulder blades. They pinch my nerve really easily, so I feel like with the mini dual grip, it kind of irritates my shoulder blade. So I'm not a big fan of the mini dual grip. I'm loving the solid feel of the actual full size dual handle grip. So yeah, that's my opinion on it. It's great if you want to go through narrow areas. It's great if you want a dual handle system, but not with such a wide form factor. I mean, it's all up to you. I liked it for the most part, but as I mentioned earlier, guys, I'm more of a fan of the dual handle system, the original dual handle system. I think that's more of my jam. Yeah. D's asking, what's the mini dual grip? So Juin Tech released the dual handle system, the wide version, and they made a compact version, which I think is half the width. So it's a lot more compact. So that's the mini dual grip that we're talking about. D said, I saw the strap thing that looked useful. Which strap? They made a shoulder bracket or shoulder mount. It's basically a rig that attaches to your shoulder, and you can mount the gimbal right here. I don't see too much of a use for it other than doing subtle, stable pans and tilts. Definitely not meant for walking. because it's just not gonna be stable footage. It looks cool for very, very short periods of times. Like if you want to do, again, as I mentioned, those soft, subtle pans or those tilts, I mean, that shoulder bracket will do you good. Like a strap that attaches to the side of the crane. Huh. I didn't see that. I didn't see that strap. Maybe a third party makes it. I think it's called, what is it called, guys? Help me out here. The strap. The FKJ, I think it's called. It could be. It's a third party manufacturer. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. I have a Zhiyun Crane Plus. How do you usually carry a gimbal to outside using a bag? FMJ, that's what it is, Andrew. You're correct. FMJ, not FKJ. FMJ. Thank you. Jason says, yeah, so how do you carry a gimbal to outside? I don't know if I really understand your question. I just carry it in its normal bag, or I just put it in one of my backpacks here. Here, guys, look at what's on the floor. So I have some bags here. My Benro tripod. I have my Lynx Cinetic slider there. I have carbon fiber tripod. And look at that. I wish I could zoom in, but I don't think I can. But you can see a lot of my batteries charging there on the floor. I have this LED panel lighting me up right now. This is an LED panel I reviewed from a company called Falcon Eyes. It's a flexible, waterproof LED panel. It's actually really fun to use. But yeah, that's what I'm using. And then, yeah, we have stuff on the table as well. It's just some stuff I'm using. But yeah, that's what's around me. I have a lot more stuff in the other room, but it's all packed up. D says, I'm happy with the dual handlebars. Great for attaching a monitor also. Yeah, you're correct. By the way, D, did you see Zhiyun's monitor? $200. It's like a $200 monitor. It's really good. For the price, it's very good. But yeah, and it runs off of the power directly from the batteries inside the crane too. There's actually a little connector that goes in here, and you run the power right from the crane 2 batteries, which I think is awesome. So you don't need to weigh yourself down by using a MPF battery. You can just, because this thing on its own is very light, and it connects directly to the power source of the crane 2. So that's fantastic. Yeah. Do I need a dual handlebar or just one? It depends on you, man. It depends on your setup. How heavy do you plan on? What is your heaviest setup? It depends. I use my dual handle system, I would say, about 80% of the time, depending on how much time I have to set up. If I don't have much time, I'll just shoot on the gimbal itself. But if I have some time to set up, I'll set up the dual handle system. D says, yeah, I saw it a while back. I was asking for a price. Didn't have one at the time. Good price. Yeah. But yeah, any more questions, guys? It's a great live stream. Alex Lopez. Damn, this guy. Josh, I hope you're doing well, buddy. Miss you, bro. Alex, where are you at, man? Alex and I took a communication class together. Damn, dude. Alex Lopez, what up, big bro? That class was hilarious, man. That class was hilarious. Any more drone videos planned in the near future? Andrew, good question. Yes, definitely more drone videos coming soon. I haven't filmed any though, but I'm planning a few. If you would like me to cover any topics on a drone video, please comment and let me know. I would love to talk about that with you. Yeah, because drones are the shiznat. I can't cuss, but I can say shiznat. But yeah, yeah, drones are awesome. If you have any questions about them, let me know in the comment section below. What would you like to learn about drones? I mean, I've made so many drone videos, just like I did gimbal videos, but with gimbals, it's a little bit trickier, or not trickier. I think it's a little bit, with gimbals, you can do so much. I think there's like an endless amount of tutorial videos you can produce for a gimbal. But with drones, I mean, they were made for a specific purpose. With gimbals, you can use it basically on anything. But drones, it's not as versatile as a gimbal, in my opinion. So it's a little bit trickier to come out with more content for drones when you've already done like 60, 70 videos on it, you know. But if you have any questions on it, let me know. But I'll think of a few tutorials too. Don't you worry about that. I'll think of a few. Just give me some time. I got to knock out more crane tutorials and crane review videos. So stay tuned for that as well. Jewin Crane M or Jewin Crane 2? And again, that's another question I can't answer. It depends on the weight of your setup. They're two completely different gimbals. One's meant for very compact, light setups. The other one is meant for heavy setups. D, yeah, the best way to get rid of aliasing on DJI drones, that would be good. Man, I don't think that's even possible. Aliasing on them, oh. Aliasing, man. Besides using some sort of actual filter on the camera, I think you're stuck with aliasing, my friend. However, the Phantom 4 Pro doesn't have that issue. It's only with the Mavic and Phantom 4 and the earlier models. Even the Inspire 1 had that issue with the X3 camera. Aliasing, oh, so bad. Aliasing and noise. Those were two of the biggest issues I had with those cameras. And for those of you who are wondering what aliasing is, you've all seen aliasing, I'm sure. But for those of you who don't know the term, it's basically when you have a camera that's shooting from a distance and vertical lines seem to be distorted. So if you're shooting, like, how would I put this? Well, any building from a distance has vertical lines. And whenever you tend to move the camera, those vertical lines seem to either become very distorted or skewed or jagged. That's another good word to use. Aliasing, basically jagged lines. So that has a lot to do with the camera's sensor and and how the sensor is scanning the image. So that all, you know, there's no program I think that can get rid of aliasing, unfortunately. Moire is another big thing that I had an issue with. For those of you who don't know moire is basically when a camera cannot detect patterns too well. So let's say you're shooting a flannel shirt or any other shirt with a heavy design. Like my shirt right now kind of has like a funky design. If an older camera like a 5D Mark II were to shoot this shirt, you would see a lot of distorted patterns on my shirt. That's what we call moire. It's distorted patterns. That's why when you're shooting an interview with a client, just as a safety precaution, ask your clients to wear simple shirts, no crazy designs, no flannel shirts, you know, just simple dress shirts with no crazy designs or logos or anything like that. You know, white, black, blue. Stay away from white. White can blow out the image, but you know, darker colors are usually good on talent. But that's what moire and aliasing is. Aliasing, just to review, jagged edges on vertical or any other straight lines. And moire is distorted patterns that you would see within a shirt or anything else that has a pattern. The newer Sony cameras don't have, the A7S kind of had a moireing issue a little bit. 5D Mark II had the biggest moireing issue I've ever seen in my life. The A9 has a pretty good sense of what's going on, and I haven't had any crazy issues with aliasing or moire. But the X3 camera on the DJI Inspire 1, bad moire, bad moire flying over the ocean. I've had issues. For some reason, the waves picked up as some really funky patterns for the sensor, and it just, oh God, the distortion on that was awful. And aliasing is pretty bad, and noise is my biggest complaint with those cameras. The X3, horrible with noise, even in perfect lighting. Mavic as well, horrible with noise. Horrible with noise, and that has to do with the compression that they're using. It's just very bad compression. 60 megabits, that's a lot of data. That's what these cameras are picking up. That's a lot of data. Why is there so much noise? Why? There shouldn't be that much noise with 60 megabits of data. So that means the codec that they're using to compress this footage is not that good. Just a lot of no problem anymore. And I think aliasing in Moiré has been improved as well. They're using Sony sensors, so Sony is. And now that DJI acquired Hasselblad, okay, best way to get rid of aliasing. We talked about that. No such no such way, unfortunately, at least to my knowledge. You messed up the looking odd flickering lines that show up every now and then. Yeah, flickering. Man, DJI's cameras. That's why you can't set them to auto at all in any form. Even auto ISO, you're gonna get massive flickering issues. Andrew is asking, would you ever consider doing feedback videos of your viewers' videos, giving your comments to improve? I would love to. If you want me to review your videos, but I will do it on my YouTube channel. I'm going to make it public. So if you think that you would be interested in that, email me. info@capturethemomentum.com. Momentum. info@capturethemomentum.com. Email me. Let's start talking, and we'll review it live. And yeah, obviously I'm going to be respectful. Don't worry about that. No name calling or anything like that. So we're here to support each other. So that's the whole point. So yes, Andrew, definitely would love to consider that. D's asking saying noise on greens. Yeah, it's odd. Everything goes mushy as well. Yeah, D, especially with my Mavic Pro, I live in the hills. And whenever I point the camera at like some bushy area with a lot of like greens or trees, it's very mushy. And noise, I don't know what the hell is going on, but noise just, I don't know where all this noise comes. Like Crane M, like the Canon 1300D. No, Crane M is not going to support that weight. Crane M would support a weight. That's what you can support with the Crane M. That's like maximum. I wouldn't go higher than that. Michael, what's up, Michael? Do you know any cool photography, videography groups in Los Angeles? I think you're in LA, right? Also, you did a great job at NAB. Saw you there. I was helping Jason V at NAB film that day. Awesome, Michael. Hell yeah. Do I know of any photography, videography groups? No, the best thing I am a part of is Meetup. Have you heard of Meetup? Meetup.com. They have a ton of events going down for any type of content creator. Meetup is like the best place to go and meet people. I shot a 48-hour film through Meetup. I did this competition. The film didn't turn out too good, I'll be honest. But you have to write, film. Amber alert on my phone. Anyway. So yeah, on Meetup, I joined this community, and we joined this 48-hour film festival. So you have to write, direct, film, and edit in 48 hours a short film. It was absolute madness, but it was probably one of the best times I've ever had. It was so much fun. But yeah, the movie didn't turn out too good, I'll be honest. But what can you do within 48 hours? It's a lot. But yeah. Will the Crane 2 support a 24 to 70 G Master smoothly? Yes, no doubt. Yes. Could you review my video? Yes, email me. What editing software do you use? I use Final Cut Pro. Fathom Rocker says that he just got the Amber Alert too. Yeah, my phone just went bananas. Amber Alert. Black and purple Dodge Challenger. So if you guys see a black and purple Dodge Challenger, you'll know to call the cops, but only if you're in California. Yeah. Yeah, guys, any more questions? We have more people tuning in now, which is great. This is an hour and 40 minutes already. That's insane. But yeah, let's take some last minute questions. I don't want to lose my voice, but it was really great chatting with you guys. So yeah, ask away. We'll be on the air for another 10 more minutes, and then we'll close up shop. And yeah, let me know if you got some questions for me. Do I need a filter for a lens? That's a very vague question. I would need more info. Every lens should have a filter, in my opinion, like a UV filter to protect the lens from UV rays, number one, but mainly to protect you from your lens, because all of us are clumsy and we're going to end up scratching our lenses. So UV glass is very important. I mean, this lens here, this is a $2,500 lens. I'm going to protect it with a UV filter. So as you can see here, I'll take this hood off. It's very thin. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a little UV filter on here. And you can't really tell, but there's just a little plate of glass on it to protect the actual lens from any scratches. So definitely protect your investment, guys. Definitely protect it. None of my lenses have any scratches on them, thank God. On the body, yeah, sure, there's scratches on the body, but not on the actual glass. That's what you got to worry about. Don't want to scratch up the glass. And screen protectors are a must. This is where I screwed up with my A7R2 before I sold it, but I didn't put a screen protector on my A7R2. I scratched it up really bad. I tried to fix it. I ended up breaking it, and then I had to sell it and buy the A9. Learn from my experience. But both my A9 and A7S have a screen protector on it, so you can't really tell because I did kind of a good job doing it. Pretty happy about it. But yeah, I have a, oh, there we go. Yeah, now you can tell it's a screen protector. But yeah, I have a screen protector on both my cameras. And probably the best investment you can ever make. It's a $2 or $3 screen protector. It will last you at least a year before it starts to unglue. So yeah, consider that. Which pan speed is good to make cinematic film for beginners? I want to set up the pan speed for my gimbal. I kept it at default. I kept my pan speed at default, which I think is 80, if I'm not mistaken. It's a trial and error process, bro. Yeah, you got to do trial and error. For me, the default settings on the Crane 2 were perfect. I had no issues with the Crane 2 default settings, but a lot of people think that's very generic of me to say. That's fine. But I find that the default settings on the Crane 2 were good enough for me. My Crane 2 drifts in lock mode. Would this be a calibration issue? The answer is yes. Definitely a calibration issue. So check that out. Make sure that's working well. Drift issue is going to happen because the IMU sensors, they're detecting movement when there's no movement there. So that's why when you're calibrating your Crane 2, you have to keep it as steady as you can. No movement. So when you put your crane in a position, make sure it stays fixed in that position with no movement whatsoever. There's gyroscopes in this thing, and if they detect any movement during the calibration, then the IMU sensors are going to be like, hey, we have to drift, because that's the only way we will eventually stop, if that makes any sense. So basically, moving will become accepted, become an accepted form of being still on a gimbal. I know it's going to make you kind of cross-eyed thinking about that, but that's why you have to make the gimbal stay in a certain position and don't touch it. No movement whatsoever. All right. So remember that. Hope that made sense. I confused myself saying that, but yeah. My Crane 2 drifts. Okay, we covered that. I love the A9 for video. I just got the A7 III and find the autofocus is better in the A9, but the dynamic range is better on the A7 III in the video. Yeah, so the dynamic range is going to be better because the higher megapixel count. Oh no, it's the same megapixel count. I'm sorry, I thought you said A7R3. Ooh, Oh man, is that because you're shooting in a picture profile, or are you shooting without any picture profiles? Because of the logs, yeah. Okay. So if the A9 also had logs, you'd probably get the same dynamic range. Okay. Yep. Yeah, the logs. That's one of the biggest downsides on the A9. I don't get why they don't put logs on there. Makes no sense. Um, guys, let's talk about this, man. The A7S Mark III or the A7 III. I think it's going to be very clear what's going to happen with the S3. I think it's going to be very clear. No 4K 60, no 10-bit internal. Okay, we're not going to get any of those features as much as we want to. I don't think it's going to happen. You're forgetting that Sony also has a pro line of cinema grade cameras, FS5, FS7. They got to continue selling those as well. So they can't put all of those features inside of A7 camera. They just can't. That's why Canon won't do all of their crazy features that they have on their C200 in their smaller DSLR cameras. They can't do it because then people don't buy their cinema grade cameras. So that's why I don't think Sony is going to move forward to 4K 60 anytime soon. So that's just something only Panasonic right now is doing. I know. Are they capable? Like, is the hardware capable of doing 4K 60? Hell yes, it is. I know for a fact that the hardware is capable of doing 4K 60. The firmware blocks the hardware from doing 4K 60. I know for a fact it can do it. The A9 for sure can do it. It has a ton of processing power. The buffering, I mean, 20 frames per second images, like, come on, if it can do that, it can do 4K 60. Raw, 20 frames per second raw images, hell yeah, it can do 4K 60. 4K 60 is not raw. At 24 frames per second, it can do 4K 60. Sony is being a little bit greedy, and they're locking up the firmware and blocking out some of the features that could naturally be there with the hardware that's installed. So I'm a little bit pissed. A lot of companies do that, but it is what it is. Unless we have some crazy hackers that come into play and hack all the Sony cameras. I even think that my A7S low key can do 4K internal. I think this thing can do 4K internal. But again, the firmware blocks it from happening. I also think that with the A7S, if someone hacks it, you can power this thing off of a battery, an external battery, without having to shut off the camera. I mean, they made that feature available to the A7 II, but not on the first generation of the A7 cameras. Again, I think it's a firmware thing. I don't think it's a hardware thing, unfortunately. But it is what it is, guys. D says apparently the GH5 is getting a new autofocus update. You see, I'm telling you guys, it's all firmware. It's all firmware. The hardware is there. It's been there for years. It's capable of so much more than we even think. They do that, and then they sabotage basically the equipment by making the firmware very limited. So I know for a fact that A9 can do 4K 60. They're just not releasing the firmware for it. And they can do logs. They're just not releasing the firmware for it. So kind of crappy to think about. I know it's very upsetting, but what can you do? Yeah, D, that's another good point. The A9, the A7 III both shoot in 6K and downsample to 4K. You're shooting at 6K and you're telling me that you can't do 4K 60? Like, come on, dude. I know you can. The hardware is there. The hardware can do it. Sony is just not letting us do it. The A7R3 shoots 5K downsampled. I think Jason Vong is shooting a video of the 5K downsampling compared to the 6K downsampling. My guess is obviously that the A7 III is going to be a little bit sharper than the A7R3 in video, but we'll see. We'll see if that's a big difference. I saw a huge difference with my A9 video capabilities compared to my A7S Mark I. The difference was so massive. I said this in the earlier part of the stream. The difference was so massive, okay, so massive that I thought my A7S footage was out of focus. That's scary. That's how much sharper my A9 is compared to my A7S. And from watching that footage, I knew that I have to upgrade my A7S as soon as the S3 is announced. Then I'll make my decision between the A7 III or the A7S Mark III. I need to wait for that S3 to come out, guys, and then I'll make my decision. Because my A7S Mark I is a B camera, so I only use it when I need to, and for B-roll shots, it does a great job still. Yeah. But damn, like, the sharpness on my A9, man, it was a little bit shocking. Any tips to improve video lag on an external monitor? For example, the Feel World or Andy Cine. So believe it or not, don't blame the monitor 100% for lagging your video feed. It has a lot to do with your cable as well. Obviously, there's cheaper cables, there's more expensive cables. With more expensive cables, they're using different, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but maybe they're using fiber optic. I don't know anything about cables, but I know for a fact that different HDMI cables have different speeds, like fiber optics or whatever. I don't know what they're using, what the hell they're using, but the cables themselves have different speeds to them. So if you buy a more expensive HDMI cable, obviously you have to compare the stats, what is it called? The specs of each cable, the transfer speeds. That's very important. And that will actually decrease your lag time from the monitor to the camera and vice versa. So yeah, the cable has a lot to do with it. For me, I have the Andy Cine monitor. The lag is, for me, it's not bad. But if you're shooting a lot of sports and you need 100, you can't use any laggy footage, then yes, you need to opt in for a higher performing monitor and a better HDMI cable. But if you can only afford one, definitely upgrade the HDMI cable because that is definitely going to help you out. Have I ever upgraded any of my HDMI cables? The answer is no, because I never needed to. For the type of work that I'm doing, lag never really bothered me, and it was never really noticeable. But if you notice a massive lag, HDMI cable it's going to do a lot for you. Okay. D is saying file sizes can become problematic though. I'm already running everything through proxies in Premiere from shooting 150 megabit, 4K. Yeah. I have an 8 terabyte Western Digital drive that's almost full, and stuff is becoming a little bit more difficult to handle now. And that's one of the reasons why I won't buy a Red either. One, it's not an ergonomic camera, and two, it's to store the files from a Red Epic, Red Dragon, Red anything. Oh, man, an 8 terabyte drive is going to last you maybe 3-4 shoots if you're lucky. I mean, no, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So for my business, for what I'm doing, a Red camera it's not a smart decision. Unless I decide to rent it out, then yeah, why not? But yeah, guys, if you start, okay, this is another thing. This is, I think this will help you save a little bit of money too. Break it down logistically, okay? If you want a new drone, if you want a new camera, break it down logistically. Take the specs, read the specs very carefully, and think to yourself, is this a logical camera for me to use? For example, let's step into my shoes for a second, okay? I shoot a lot of YouTube stuff. I don't have anything that's going on the silver screen. I don't have anything that's going to IMAX. I don't have anything that's going to any broadcasting television network. Do I need a Red Epic for YouTube videos? No, I don't. One, because the file sizes are too massive. That's one. Two, I don't have time to set up a Red Epic. You have to set up the monitor, the cage, the SSD, the battery, the grips, the tripod, the massive tripod. You have to put it on a big Ronin gimbal. I mean, and not to mention no autofocus. Something that I heavily rely on a lot of my shoots is autofocus. And the fact that you don't get that with the Red is just, for me, it kills the experience. It kills everything. So when you think about it logistically, do you really need a Red? Now, when do you know if you need a Red? Are you a filmmaker who actually makes short films and that's how you make your money on? Are you a hobbyist and you want to make your money on making real films? Yes, you will need a Red. Raw file sizes are important to the point where you need to color correct, where you need to save highlights, save shadows, midtones, contrast, whatever. Those raw file sizes will come in handy. That's when you need a Red Epic or any Red camera for that matter. You get those massive file sizes. On a filmmaking shoot, you usually have a scheduled time to set up, to take down, to actually film. With my freelancing work, I don't have any of that schedule. I show up at a time, I have to be ready to shoot within 5 to 10 minutes max. I have to have the camera on my gimbal, I have to have it rolling, I have to have the talent mic'd up within 5 to 10 minutes. Start shooting the fitness workout video. Okay, I can't do that with a Red. I don't have, it's gonna take me longer than 10 minutes to set up a Red, on a gimbal especially. So think about it. Do you really need a Red? Unless you want to make money off of it by renting it out and using your equipment as a rental house, or unless you want to shoot feature films, you don't need a Red. It's a camera meant for specific kind of filmmaking, okay? Not for everybody. I know you want the latest gear. I know you want the most expensive gear. I have that tendency to want all of it. But once you start thinking logistically, once you take a few deep breaths and think logistically, you're not going to make bad buying decisions. Back in 2014, I bought a TV camera ready for broadcasting. I lost $3,500 on that camera because it just didn't make me any money. I couldn't use it on a lot of my shoots because of its poor low light. It used CF cards, which were very difficult to manage because I had to bring a special card reader with me everywhere, and it was just really annoying. And overall, it was a lot bigger of a camera, so I had to have space for it. So I lost money on that camera, and ever since I had that camera, it was just like the best learning experience for me. And yeah, you just really have to think logistically about if a certain camera is right for you. That's the best way of me putting it, But yeah, once you start thinking logistically, guys, you're going to make the best buying decisions ever. Think of it this way. You guys are investors. You're investing in your company. You want to see ROI, return on investment, okay? If you think logistically and you find out that you can't get an ROI on something that you invest in, you don't invest. Done. Don't invest in something that you don't get an ROI in. All right? That's unfortunately something that they don't teach you in film school. They don't teach you how to invest money. That's something that they got to teach you in every single line of work that you're in. You're going to be investing money. Not necessarily in the stock market, but in anything that you own, you invest money. And schools don't teach you how to, think about how to invest your money. So hopefully this will kind of help you, get you a better idea. And also the cost goes to the client in the end. Agreed. Sony would have to be pressed very hard for them to put up 60 frames, 4K in a mirrorless. It will hurt their FS5 and FS7, yes, and there will be smaller camcorders. 110% agree with you. We mentioned this a little bit earlier in the stream. Canon did the same exact thing. They are not going to put higher features that are found in their cinema grade cameras in their lower end cameras, or DSLR cameras for that, or SLR cameras for that matter, because they want you to buy a camera, a specific camera that can do just that. It's a very niche camera that they want to sell to you. They don't want to sell you a camera that has everything. They want you to sell you a camera that can do a specific task. That's it. They don't want to sell you something that does everything. Otherwise, they lose money at the end. So think of it that way as well. It's business. It's capitalism. What can you do? Michael also says they might do it with a lesser codec, like a 420, sorry, but 422 in a mirrorless from Sony. I would be shocked. Yeah. I've owned my first Canon camcorder, which was ready for broadcasting, was 422, and it did excellent chroma keying. Double the color data of 420 cameras. So chroma keying was such a breeze. Even if the green screen was poorly lit with shadows and wrinkles, I was still able to key out a lot of that green and have a pretty clean chroma key. So I was very happy about that. So that's why 420 and 422, those are important things. It all has to do with color space. 422, that should be the standard for new cameras now, because chroma keying is important. It's not only for chroma keying, it's also for color correction, for saving highlights, for saving shadows, bumping up shadows, you know, all of that stuff. You need that color data. Because that color data that color data at the end of the day will help you out with your dynamic range. It's going to allow you to do a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, so that's important. Do you recommend getting a Vlog L on GH5 worth spending $100 on that? You know, I had the GH4, sold it. I don't know anything about the GH5, unfortunately. I know some of the specs, but a lot of the people are saying that Vlog is worth it. They get increased dynamic range, and they're able to color correct their footage a lot easier. So I would research it a little bit more and go on YouTube and just type in your search and find the comparison videos. I don't have the GH5. I can't give you my opinion on that. D says 422 is nice to have. I shoot with 422 all the time now, but again, it is heavy. VLC won't even play it back for viewing footage. Yeah. So they won't. Yeah. VLC was supposed to be the media player that would read every single type of file, but unfortunately it doesn't. No. All right, my friends. Well, we've been online for 2 hours, going on 2 hours already. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. If you could please share this channel, Momentum Productions, with all your friends, family, anyone interested in filmmaking, that would be awesome. Let's try and get this to be a big filmmaking community. I want to produce as many free tutorial videos and review videos as I possibly can. Let's just keep growing the family, the community. All right, guys. So I really appreciate all of your time. You asked some great questions. D, Halvin, Wolf, Michael, thank you guys all for your questions. We really kept this live stream going, and I really appreciate that. So I'm sorry if I babble a little bit. I'm just very excited. I have a lot of things going on in my mind regarding new things to invest in, like the S3 and the A7 III. So yeah, I'll let you know before I buy anything. I'm gonna let you know. Maybe I can live stream during my purchasing time. Like if I'm going to be buying through B&H or Best Buy or something, I can maybe live stream it, and you guys can see what the experience is like with me buying cameras. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, try to share this page, Momentum Productions, with all your friends and family. Anyone interested in filmmaking, that would make my day. Let's build this community up. I love you all. Peace out, and I can't wait to see what you create. Momentum Productions out.